They called him a traitor, the man who tried to sell out an entire nation before it was even born. But the real story of Benedict Arnold is far stranger and far more tragic than the simple betrayal history remembers. Because before he became America's most hated name, he was America's greatest hero. And the truth behind his fall isn't just about greed or betrayal. It's about a nation that created its own villain. If you had asked any American soldier in 1777 who the bravest general in the army was, they would have answered instantly. Not Washington, not Hamilton, not Gates. They would have said, Benedict Arnold. But something happened, something almost no one talks about, that turned the Continental Army's brightest star into the man who nearly destroyed it. And it all started long before he ever met a British spy. By the end of this story, you'll understand why Benedict Arnold crossed the line, why he risked everything, and why, in many ways, the betrayal he's remembered for wasn't the moment he truly broke. The real betrayal happened earlier, and it wasn't done by him. Before the Revolution, Arnold wasn't born into privilege like many founding fathers. He was a shopkeeper, a merchant, a man clawing his way up from debt and disaster. He had lost siblings to disease. His father drank himself into ruin. By 20, Arnold was the only one holding the family together. Everything he built, he had to build by sheer force of will. So when the war began, he fought the same way. Arnold didn't join the revolution for glory. He joined because he believed in it with a fury that scared even his friends. And that passion made him unstoppable. Arnold's first major act of heroism came almost immediately. Most Americans don't know this, but Benedict Arnold was one of the men who captured Fort Ticonderoga, a victory that brought the revolution its first cannons. Those cannons were hauled hundreds of miles through snow and mountains to Boston, where they forced the British to retreat. Without Arnold, the revolution might have ended right there. But from the beginning, something was wrong. While others took credit, Arnold was sidelined. Promotions passed him by. Political enemies whispered in Congress, calling him reckless, arrogant, unstable. He was a soldier. They were politicians, and they resented how quickly he became a legend. The first blow came quietly. Congress promoted 5 generals above him. 5 men with less experience, less battle time, and less loyalty. Arnold swallowed the insult, for now. But that wound never healed. Then came the Canadian Campaign, a brutal, freezing starvation march through the wilderness. Men ate candles and shoe leather to survive. But Arnold refused to quit. He reached Quebec with barely half his force alive. And even after a bullet tore through his leg, he kept fighting on the ground, yelling orders while bleeding into the snow. He didn't win the battle, but he won something else. The undying loyalty of the men who followed him. One soldier wrote, "General Arnold has more courage than any man alive." But again, Congress dismissed him. Again, rivals took credit. Then came Saratoga, the turning point of the entire war. General Gates was supposed to lead the troops, but he stayed behind lines, sending orders from safety. Arnold, furious at being pushed aside, rode into battle anyway, and changed history. He charged so hard and so recklessly that an officer shouted, "General, we'll all be killed!" Arnold replied, "Then I will lead you to death." His attack shattered the British line. It forced their surrender. It convinced France that America might actually win the war. Without Benedict Arnold, the United States might never have existed. But you'd never know it from the reports. Gates removed Arnold's name entirely. The man who saved the revolution wasn't even mentioned. And the leg Arnold shattered in battle, the one that still held a musket ball inside, left him permanently crippled. He sacrificed his body for his country. His country barely acknowledged him. By 1779, Arnold was emotionally and physically broken. His wife had died. He was buried in debt. He limped constantly and lived with pain every day. And Congress, instead of rewarding him, charged him with misconduct for minor bookkeeping errors. Arnold saw the truth. The nation he had nearly died for didn't want him. Washington begged Congress to treat him fairly. He wrote letters defending Arnold again and again. He promoted him. He trusted him. But it wasn't enough. Then, at Arnold's lowest point, he met someone who offered him what Congress never had: respect. Major John Andre, British intelligence officer, charming, cultured, attentive. Andre didn't approach Arnold as a traitor. He approached him as the brilliant commander America refused to appreciate. And Arnold, still believing he could serve his country, tried one last time to make things right. He wrote Congress, pleading for the command he felt he'd earned. They ignored him. That was the moment Benedict Arnold's loyalty snapped. Not when he met the British, not when he began negotiating, but the moment he realized the Continental Congress would never forgive his fame, or his ambition, or his brilliance. He wasn't betraying America. He believed America had already betrayed him. So Arnold made a decision that would rewrite his destiny. He would hand the British the key to winning the war, the fortress at West Point. The plan almost worked. Andre carried the papers hidden in his boot. But fate intervened. He was stopped, searched, and arrested. The plot unraveled overnight. Washington raced to Arnold's home, only to find him already escaping by boat. When Washington read the captured documents, he said nothing for a long time. Then, quietly, he said, "Whom can we trust now?" For Washington, the betrayal was personal. Arnold had been a brother in arms. For the nation, it became an instant legend. Arnold's name was erased, burned, or cursed in every colony. His statue at Saratoga? It shows only his boot, because they refused to carve his face. But here's the part history often leaves out. Benedict Arnold never stopped believing he was right. Even after joining the British, he insisted he had been loyal to the ideals of honor, justice, and fairness, the very ideals he felt Congress had betrayed. He once wrote, "A country that cannot reward its heroes does not deserve them." He didn't become greedy. He became bitter, wounded, and disillusioned. He spent the rest of his life hated by both countries, the Americans who saw him as evil, and the British who saw him as a failed pawn. When he died, he reportedly looked at his old Continental uniform and said, "I wish it had been my fate to die in your service." So who was Benedict Arnold? A traitor, yes, but also the man who may have saved the revolution long before he tried to end it. A hero who was denied recognition. A soldier who gave everything, his money, his body, his future, to a country that eventually turned its back on him. The tragedy of Benedict Arnold isn't that he betrayed America. It's that America helped create the betrayal. History remembers him for the one thing he did wrong, and forgets everything he did right. And maybe that's the real untold truth behind his name. That the line between hero and villain is thinner and more fragile than we like to believe. Subscribe for more history stories.